What I believe is actually criminal at this point in time in our lives is that our entire life can be transformed through thought, through words, and then transformed through action. We have power within us to change our entire life. All the different elements of our life that we complain about, that we say we don't want, that we're sad about, that we cry in our pillow about, they don't have to be there. The scientific truth is that we are programmed. Thoughts are not trapped in our heads. They leave our body, and as an actual measurable electromagnetic wave, our heart completely broadcasts an even stronger signal than our brain. The heart has electromagnetic field that is 5,000 times stronger than the brain. Words restructure our nervous system. You want to stop trying to rearrange your life on the outside. The real lasting changes come right in here. And it's a wonderful process, and it will change your life no matter what. So here we go. Hey guys, how are you today? I have one scientific truth with 2, 3, or possibly 5 ways to transform your entire life. And this is no joke. This is science, and this is actionable steps that they work. And what I believe is actually criminal at this point in time in our lives is that there is so much information that shows us scientifically that our entire life can be transformed through thought, through words, and then transformed through action. And I'm going to give you some great information. I pray that you run with this, teach your children this, talk about this with one another, and continue to spread this information, because this information has been kept from us since we were little children. And we really need to know this work and how we have power within us to change our entire life. All the different elements of our life that we complain about, that we say we don't want, that we're sad about, that we cry in our pillow about, they don't have to be there, because we have the power within us. We have the control, and we can also co-create with the source and God Almighty to create different outcomes, creating a different life. And it makes life more of an adventure and exciting instead of something to complain about with the buddies or whatever, people at work, or, spend no time complaining, because that I can guarantee will ruin your life. So let's go over it. We are neurologically programmed from at birth, and we're also programmed before birth, but I'm not going to get into epigenetics, which is another topic. We repeat emotional patterns over and over again, and they're taught and they're learned. We learn them from our caregivers and the world around us. You hear these phrases, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. You hear in the Bible, it says, train up a child in the way they should go, and when they are old, they will not depart from it. This is true. We are programmed, and so many of the wonderful things about us have been programmed. We did learn how to read, write, and do all these different things, but we also picked up a lot of nuances, a lot of ways of handling conflict, a lot of ways of thinking and believing about the world around us that continues to influence everything we do. So here we go. Alvin Toffler, I tell you guys this quote regularly because I believe in it. Alvin Toffler says that the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read or write. It will be those who cannot learn, unlearn, and learn again. And I always parallel that with the Bible verse that says, do not be transformed. No, do not conform to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. When I think of the words, do not be conformed to this world, so often we think of that like, don't do the evil things that the people in the world are doing. But the way I look at it is, do not be conformed to this world. And I believe it's the world we're born into, the family we're born into. And of course, it has, larger meaning. But we do not want to be conformed to that, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. That is a great message, and it goes right along with what Alvin Toffler is saying, that we have to learn, unlearn, and learn again. So the transformation of our life is about unlearning. We have to see it. We have to know what we learned. We have to then unlearn it and then learn again. And it's a wonderful process and it will change your life no matter what. So here we go. How does this actually change your life? What happens? So if you look at your life and you say, the first step, so the scientific truth is that we are programmed. Just accept that. I'm going to come on the back end and explain all of the stuff that's going on in our body that is actually making us programmed and continuing to follow a program. You can't change what you don't see. I say this so regularly. Nothing changes until it becomes what it is. So you have to know what the program is. And we get little its and bits and pieces of learning what that programming is. As soon as you start to blame someone else for your life or any aspect of your life, you're missing the point that what we need to know is how am I programmed? And what is my programming? How is this programming serving this experience that I'm having that I don't like? Okay, so what we want to do, we begin by observing the patterns without judging them. You can see patterns in your life. You start to notice that you're in the same situation with just a different cast of characters over and over again. That's an indication that it's you, that it's your programming. Name the program. Oh, yeah, this is my scarcity program. Oh, yeah, this is my poor me program. Oh, yeah, this is everybody takes advantage of me program. Oh, yeah, this is like, money is hard to get program. Oh, God, this is, I don't know. This is this program that, I'm just not worthy. I don't belong in most places. This is the program that says, I don't look as pretty. I don't act as nice. I am not this. I am not that. I am not enough, right? Strategy two, you override the program through language. So first you have to know it, identify what it is. You're going to see it pop up in all different areas of your life. You will have a broad sweeping program of unworthiness, and you might see it in money, you might see it in friendships, you might see it, in all different areas. So it's one core base belief system that is a program, right? So then what we want to do, I love words. Words are power. It says in the Bible, it's like there's life and death in the power of the tongue. And I am certain of that. And we want to use our words internally and externally for the right creating power. So these are just programming tools, words. Our inner words, our self-talk, the thing that's going on all the time, and our outer words, our spoken language, are creating our outcomes. Thoughts are not trapped in our heads, and I'm going to explain that. They leave our body, and as an actual measurable electromagnetic wave, this can be measured. I'm going to explain that further in a minute. We have to daily and moment by moment override the formula. You want to cancel it, and I'm going to explain what I mean. You cannot necessarily stop it. You want to see it and then replace it and then affirm that. So example, the words could be, I can't do this. You want to say, instead, replace it. I'm learning fast. Or, I'm dedicated to this until I learn this, right? Then affirm, I create results through action. So you're going to change your words and you will change your nervous system, I promise you. And when the nervous system is changed, life changes. So this is it. You want to stop trying to rearrange your life on the outside. This is my calling in life, to tell you guys, you have the power within you. Stop trying to tinker around outside to make changes so that you feel better, because those are just momentary changes. The real lasting changes come right in here, I promise. Okay, so the thing what you want to do is you want to see your programming, override it with a decision. Decisions are power moves. When you make a decision, I am going to, I am doing this. Instead of saying, I want to, I am. I want to buy a house, I am buying a house. I want to be fit, I am getting fit. It's a decision that you've decided and you've committed to. So if this resonates, I want you to share it with people and make comments about it. Tell me which part resonates. But I want to throw some science at you guys. Ready? So the science behind all of it. I want to show you the science behind thought, the science behind words, and the science behind our heart and what we're broadcasting. This is very important. Thoughts produce electromagnetic waves, as I said before. The brain produces Electrical activity every time we think. So think about it. Every time we think a thought, the landscape of our brain shifts. You want to wrap your mind around this. Don't just breeze over what I'm saying. Even if you hear a word that maybe you haven't heard before, don't breeze over it. Understand that our brain is producing all this electrical activity every time we're thinking something, and this is measurable in an EEG, right? In an electroencephalogram. These electrical signals create electromagnetic waves, right? And they go beyond our skull. They're just, it's just nothing is inside here that we think. We're like, oh, I just thought that thought. It stays here. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's a wave and it keeps going. These electrical signals create electromagnetic waves and they just keep going. This is a really cool, unbelievable thing. And according to Max Planck at the Institute for Human Cognitive and Brain Sciences, thoughts are generated through electrochemical signals that create real, measurable frequencies. All of this is science. Real measurable frequencies. Most of what is real we do not see. And science is catching up with the reality of this. We have used to say, if I'll believe it when I see it. And you know what? That's a bunch of bull malarkey because what we see is such a flawed amount. It's so flawed in perception that we really need to sharpen up and understand that a lot more is happening. Thoughts aren't trapped in our head. Did you hear me? Thoughts are not trapped in our head. They're electrical signals that generate energy. So they generate energy and we broadcast what we're thinking. We broadcast it out around us. Our heart also, this is very important. Our heart completely broadcasts an even stronger signal than our brain. And that we really need to understand. Boom, 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 boom. Our heart, the Heart Math Institute, which this is the coolest thing ever, found that the heart has electromagnetic field. Hold on to your shorts. That is 5,000 times stronger than the brain. An electromagnetic field that is 5,000 times stronger than our brain. This field radiates, several feet outside of our body, and it influences our emotional state and the states of others. So you ever notice someone, you can all be laughing and someone can come in the room and they have a different energy? Their heart is radiating outside of them and it shifts the energy in the room. This is a powerful fact. If you go into it, if you're around someone who's very anxious or very angry, you'll notice that you'll start to feel differently. So remember, your heart is speaking several feet outside of your body. Your emotional state is not private. Stop thinking it's private. Even if you're smiling at someone, you can see that it resonates when they're angry. You can feel it and you don't know what you're seeing. Remember this. You're broadcasting it. Energy isn't and I don't even like saying this word anymore, woo-woo, because anybody who calls it woo-woo is actually woo-woo themselves. Because this is physics. This is real math and science that for some reason we've been duped to think that it's woo-woo. And I don't know. I don't want to say I'm a conspiracy theorist, but what do you think? It's a little weird. Why are we not taught this? Back to what I'm saying. Words. I love words. Words restructure our nervous system. This is science. So neuroscientist Dr. Andrew Huberman, who I love Andrew Huberman. I could listen to him all day long. He is such a brilliant, brilliant neuroscientist. He says, language is the most powerful driver of the nervous system change. The words we use trigger biochemical responses. Do you understand that? The words, any word you use, it's going to trigger something. So a negative word increases cortisol. It increases, the energy and the impact of people around us. So we share cortisol too. Other people can absorb our cortisol, but that's a whole other deep subject. So, for example, negative words, they're going to increase our cortisol, right? But then positive words, guess what they do? They increase our dopamine, they increase our serotonin. Cognitive behavioral therapists build on this is built, they build this on science. Okay, changing words changes thoughts, which changes emotions, which changes behavior. Our words are programs that are commands to our biology. So if you understand, last week I talked in my podcast about, beggars plead, servants ask, and children command. Well, this is a big part of this. You want to use your language to command and proclaim things in your life instead of writing a story that you don't like. So you see something you don't like. So then you communicate it outside and then you complain about it to Tom, Dick, Harry, Jill, Frida, and Gladys. And you tell everybody how much your life sucks. And then your life continues to suck. And guess what? If you don't do that, if you start to look for the gold in it, look for the thing that you're learning in it. When something negative happens around me, I immediately go, okay, what is this? I have this event happening in my life. Okay, what is this giving me an opportunity to learn? I say to the event, thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to locate and understand what is already emotionally buried inside of me. Where is this feeling coming from related to this event? Where is the meaning that I'm attaching to that event coming from? And how come I'm attaching it to this event? What it's already in me. It's my belief about what's happening. I could believe something else. I remember saying to my daughter, she was telling me a story about an event. I said, well, that's an interesting story, but I'm going to tell you another story because I'm hearing the event and I'm going to write a different story. And then I just told her a story that could be an interpretation of the event. And she's like, "Oh, wow. Like we could interpret this differently. What a surprise. It's a new way of thinking." Like I don't have to look at a situation and say, "Oh, it's because people are against me." I could look at the situation and say, "Oh, people are frightened and sometimes they do things that make them seem that way. But this is happening for me as an opportunity for me to see what I'm afraid of." So let's go into quantum physics for just a moment. Okay? Quantum physics completely supports what I'm speaking about. At a quantum level, if you observe a thought, get ready for this. Hold on to your seat. All right? Observing a thought changes matter. And this is a double slit experiment, and energy follows intention. So when I have an intention, that's why I love to set my intention. I'm going here and my intention is to laugh. I'm going here and my intention is to give generously. I'm going here and my intention is to be a wise observer. So at my transitions in my day, I stop and I ask myself, what is my intention here? What is the agenda for this meeting? What would I like to achieve by the end of this meeting? How would I like to experience this interaction with this person, right? Energy flows where we focus, right? Where we focus, energy flows. So we want to really understand that energy follows intention. Craziness. This is not a spiritual metaphor. Trust me, this is not a spiritual metaphor. It's a scientific law. E equals frequency plus vibration plus energy. And this is Einstein. So where focus goes, energy flows. We hear it all the time. There's a song for it. I don't remember. I wish I could. We used to dance in the office to this song. So I'm not dancing now. And the thing is that this is motivation. This is not, excuse me, this is not motivation. Please cut that out of my podcast because it's not motivation. This is actual quantum mechanics. Frequency of words impacts the reality. And this is really powerful. You guys have probably heard of that water study where people spoke words of love over a glass of water and words of hate over a glass of water. The Dr. Masaru Emoto showed through water crystallization, he showed experiments that spoken words like love, spoken words like gratitude create this organized structure of the water molecules that were like beautiful, beautiful structures. But words like hate and words like fear created chaotic patterns. Our body is made up of 70% water. What do you think words do to us? I've seen children come in for counseling, little, very little children who are very sick, and I won't even say the kind of sickness. And what we uncover is that their parents are screaming and yelling at one another hurtful, horrible words since they're born. And probably the way their molecules are set up is that they're misshapen. And you want to remember that our molecules will become misshapen and they will be more susceptible to viruses and serious illnesses if we do not be guards over the words that we use, the words we listen to, the words that other people use over us. I'm, I have a shield of love, of cushiony love around myself that when I start to hear things, it's almost like a symphony. I hear like word music. As soon as I hear that word that I know is like a hateful word or a negative word or someone criticizing themselves or making fun of someone, it sounds like a really bad note in a beautiful symphony. And I'm like, oh, and like I'm known like as the word police. And it's not because I want to control people, it's because I want people to live a life of, a really good life. And I want people to know the truth. So here we go. Science proves this. It proves it. And we have an opportunity right now to change our lives if you'll just hear it and listen to it. If you put these things into practice, you can change your life. Your thoughts are electrical, right? All of our thoughts are electrical. Our emotions are magnetic. Think of it. And together they broadcast our reality. I am not a victim of the world I see. I am its creator. I'm not ashamed of it, but I love that when I get information, I see my world on a given day. I say, "Ooh, I'm creating this. How? What can I shift? How can I, what words have I used? What thoughts have I used? What have I been doing over the last 6 months that now is bringing this to me?" Be aware, be awake, live in the truth, be awake and aware in the now without judgment, head, heart, feet, all in the same spot. Your brain emits measurable waves. Your heart radiates a field that other people can feel. Know that. We have a quantum field around us and we can expand it as we meditate. Our words trigger biochemical reactions that program our nervous system. You're not going to attract what you want. You're going to attract who you are. You're going to attract what you think. You're going to attract what you're broadcasting. I can't even tell you how many times when you're like in a place of joy and laughter and you're free and you're confident and you feel good about yourself, notice who draws to you. Another thing, I have simple practices that I do. I will like lay on my back and I'll say, I say yes to. Instead of, I don't want this, I don't like the way this is, I don't like the way this person is, I say yes to high level relationships. I say yes to relationships that are fun and loving and interactive and encouraging and uplifting. I say yes to the exciting things in life. I say yes to fun. I say yes to peace. I say yes to, and then if there's anything that's negative, I ask the question, what is it about this situation? What is this situation? Thank you, situation, for being here. What are you here to teach me? What are you here to tell me? What is it that's inside of me that needs to grow, learn, or be rewritten that will now allow me to have a better life? We hear this over and over again, in social media and like all personal development. We hear, this is not happening to you, it is happening for you. And that really depends on how you see the world. So, an inner world, a person who believes and sees that everything that's happening around me is here as a gift. And when you really believe that, everything is a gift. If you believe that everything that is happening around you is a curse, is a problem, is that there's people out to get you, is that, I'm in trouble, or I've created something, oh, I did something wrong, or what's wrong with me. Those words, I don't even like saying them out loud when I do this podcast because I want you guys to really, really take an audit. Take an audit of the people who surround you. the words they use and how you interact. If you gossip, you talk badly about other people, that will hurt your life. If you talk badly about yourself, that will hurt your life. I promise you that. If you practice over and over again, moment by moment, some days you won't, so it won't come out good. Sometimes, I walked in the house last night and there was like pee on the floor from my dogs. And I said words I didn't like. It happens, but you want the majority that you are continuing on an ongoing basis. Because if we're not growing, we're dying. We are meant as human beings for expansion, for growth, for higher level thinking, for higher level feeling. And you may find that you attract into your life maybe people who are, seeing things differently, or like not in a place where they have a more fixed mindset. They don't see their lives as something that is part of this beautiful, adventurous growth project. And if you can see your life in that way, you can find joy even in the difficulties. I've had some really hard times in my life, really hard times. And what I want to say to you is that any hard time that you're in, it's an opportunity, and it hurts. Pain is quite the transformational tool, only if we'll use it. So pain can come in and destroy us, or pain can come in and we could say, I'm going to take hold of this and I'm going to use this. I'm going to squeeze every little last bit out of this pain to extract the negative, to grow into who I'm meant to be. We're here for a reason. And I want to say that to all the people who are on that one reel of mine, who are saying the things that, they don't see their life as valuable. Every one of us is here for a reason, and every one of us is here to transform. And if our minds become so eclipsed by negative thought, that is my concern in general. I think there can be a point in time where the toxicity of our thoughts and the words we use, it almost takes over, and it becomes harder and harder to come back. But what I do want to encourage you with is that one time, each time you think a different thought, the landscape of your brain changes. Each time you conjure up a feeling that, you see a beautiful sun or a bird or something that just brings you joy, allow it to magnify and allow it to cascade out. And the more you smile at people, the more smiles come back, and you can start to build something. And don't time it. Just allow it. One moment at a time, 1 minute at a time. When you've haven't done it your whole life, and even if it doesn't matter how old you are, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100, all we have is now. You can start now in this little moment and think a different thought. The thoughts that you will think that do not match your programming will sound like lies. That's what I want you to know. Don't listen to that. Because the thoughts in your program that are producing a life not worth your happiness, or that don't tell you of your worthiness, or that don't have you be in your purpose, those are actually the lies. Don't forget that. Believe me, it's true. I've done this myself and it works. It actually works. Just know the truth. That's all. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your week. Until we speak again, please, if you would, leave comments, ask me questions. If this resonates with you, please share this with people that possibly are negative or need to really learn this and become happy and healthy. It will help people who are unhealthy physically, unhealthy mentally, people who feel lonely or sad or having a hard time. Remember, our thoughts cascade out and are creators. Our thoughts move faster than the speed of light, and that is the first step in all of our creations. And remember, our heart cascades out and broadcasts, and it's 5,000 times stronger than the thoughts in our brain. So the way we're feeling, the words we're using, the other powerful thing is that every word we say, they're sound waves. They never end. They create. Your words are proclamations and commands that change the scope of your surroundings. Just practice. Play around with it. It's actually fun. Love you guys.